Today on Wolf Pack Weekdays, we're going to be talking about the UFC and basically who I think is going to have the titles at the end of the year. Welcome back to Wolf Pack Weekdays. Like I said, today we're going to be talking about the title changes that have been happening in the UFC. And basically, there have been 7 title changes alone this year. That's an insane amount for the UFC when they have champions that do almost 12 freaking defenses like Anderson Silva. Like, it's insane that these titles are changing this much, and it's something I want to talk about because what I'm going to actually do at the end is I'm going to predict who is going to have every title at the end of the year. So for this episode in particular, there's so much information, I kind of need some notes. So sorry about the obnoxious yellow pad, but there's a lot to go through. So I'm going to be talking about basically what 7 titles have changed hands. And, well, it's not 7 separate titles. It's just 7 separate people have had them. And basically then I'm going to go into why they're happening and basically predict who's going to have them at the end. So let's go ahead and get into it because this has been an insane year and it's going to get, and it seems like it's going to get even crazier. So let's start with the times that the titles have changed, basically. Okay, so first up was Dominic Cruz beating Dillashaw at Bantamweight for the title. He still has that title. Miesha Tate beat Holly Holm, which was a surprise, with a fifth round rear naked choke to win the women's Bantamweight title. Then Stipe Miocic beat Fabricio Verdum at heavyweight by knockout. Bisping beat Rockhold at middleweight by knockout. Alvarez beat Dos Anjos at lightweight by knockout. Amanda Nunes beat Miesha Tate, so once again that title's changed, at women's bantamweight. And then Tyron Woodley, who is from St. Louis, my hometown, beat Robbie Lawler, which was a shock, at welterweight by knockout. So those are the titles that have changed, and basically the only ones that haven't changed this year are Strawweight, which is Joanna Jędrzejczyk, Flyweight, which is Demetrius Johnson, Featherweight, which is Conor McGregor because he hasn't fought down there yet, and light heavyweight, which is Daniel Cormier, and that's because he hasn't really had a title fight because of the John Jones controversy. So those are the ones that are still left that haven't changed at all this year. But man, it's going to be interesting this year because there's still a bunch of big events coming up. Especially the UFC 205, I believe it is, which is at Madison Square Garden. It is the first one in New York, so everybody wants to be on that card. There's probably going to be a bunch of title fights. Which ones in particular, I don't know yet, but it looks like it'll probably have McGregor fighting Aldo for sure. So that'll be interesting. That could change the featherweight there because they're both technically champions. One of them is an interim, but Conor never lost it. It's the interim stuff. But anyway, that one's coming up for sure. And there should be at least like, I think it's one every month, one big one every month. So you're looking at, let's see, September, October, November, December, at least 4 or 5 more big UFC events, plus fight nights, plus Fox specials, like all that stuff. So there's a lot of opportunity for titles to change. And I'm actually going to just predict which people are going to have the titles and why. So I'm going to start with the women. The women at strawweight, which is 115 pounds, I think it has to be Joanna Jędrzejczyk. I don't know if she's going to fight again this year, but she just won a very, very, very dominant win, like over Claudia Gadelha, who they were coaches for The Ultimate Fighter, and it was The Ultimate Fighter finale. It was free on TV, and Joanna was looking like she might lose in the first couple rounds, then Claudia gassed out and Joanna just destroyed her. But I mean, she's an amazing kickboxer, and she's just probably the best Muay Thai kickboxer in the freaking UFC. She's so fast, so clean, her striking is so technical, and she's definitely going to be hard to beat. And I don't even know if she's going to have another title fight, so I'm going to go with Joanna Jędrzejczyk on strawweight to still have the title at the end of the year. Now, with bantamweight, it's kind of the same story. I don't know if they're going to have another fight for Amanda Nunes. There is a contender, but she's so good. She is very good. She beat a very tough Miesha Tate very easily. So, unless Ronda Rousey comes back, which I don't think she is, I think she'll hold the title through the year. I think she has the skills and just the grit and the strength and everything that she needs to hold the title. So I think she'll keep it through the year. And that's the women division. So now let's go on to the guys. Okay, at Flyweight, there is a title fight supposedly going to be happening this year because they're doing an Ultimate Fighter season. I believe they're filming it, like, finishing filming, like, right now because it starts, like, I think it's 2 weeks from now. And basically this idea, and I'm going to talk about this a lot probably next week. I'm just going to dive into the Ultimate Fighter 24 because it's a weird concept. Basically, they're bringing in a bunch of flyweights, and the competitor, not the coach, the competitor that wins gets a title shot against Demetrius Johnson. So he's going to have to fight a random guy who won the Ultimate Fighter. I still think Demetrius Johnson will have it at the end of the year. He's too good. He's way too good. I was so happy to see him be pound for pound #1 when John Jones went down for the, you know, the drugs thing that happened at UFC 200 because he deserves it. He's a monster. His wrestling's great. His jiu-jitsu's great. His striking's amazing. He's fast. He's smooth. He's able to dodge punches easily. He's great. Demetrius Johnson is a true champion, and I believe he will stay on top through the year. Now, next up is Bantamweight. This one is a little more in the air. Dominic Cruz has the title right now. Dominic Cruz has never really lost the title. Like, he never has lost the title. He's only lost to one person, and it was to win the title, so he didn't win it. And that was back in WEC against Uriah Faber when he probably shouldn't have took the fight. But anyway, he's dominant. He's great. I mean, his name is the Dominator for a reason. He's strong. He's fast. He's smooth. He's able to wrestle. He's able to knock people out, which he almost did to Uriah Faber at 199. He's good. He's one of my favorite fighters. But it's interesting because Dillashaw is in contention for another shot, basically a rematch, because he lost the title in January. But at the same time, Garbrandt's looking strong, and no, Holloway's featherweight. So basically, Garbrandt and Dillashaw both have a kind of a say. So I don't know if he's going to fight at the end of the year, if he's going to fight before the end of the year. I think if it's Garbrandt, he's going to keep the title. If it's Dillashaw, it's going to be close, but I think Dominic Cruz will still have the title at the end of the year. I think Dominic Cruz is going to go a very long reign with this title. Next up is Featherweight, which is obviously Conor McGregor. He's the face of the UFC, doing a lot of smack talking to the WWE, which is interesting. But anyway, he's a ungodly dominant champion. He hasn't even really looked tested in the featherweight division. The only loss I've seen him have was against Nate Diaz at 170. So that's a 30-something, that's a 25-pound jump. You know, that's 170, right? I'm not going to do math. I'm not good at math. But he's got to come back down after the Nate Diaz 2 fight to fight Jose Aldo, the guy he beat in 13 seconds with one punch. Now, this time, I don't think it's going to be 13 seconds. I do not think it will be. I think Jose Aldo's kind of shook that off, and he's going to be coming in there, and he's going to be looking to kill Conor. So the unification fight's going to probably be at 205. I think McGregor's going to win. I think that overall, even if it goes the distance, which doesn't happen often with McGregor, that's for sure, you know, I think he'll come out as the winner. I think he'll put more output out. I think he'll be quicker. I think he'll be in Jose Aldo's head. So I think McGregor will be the champion at the end of the year. Now, next up is lightweight. It actually just changed recently to Eddie Alvarez on the fight night leading up to UFC 200, but I don't think Alvarez will have it. Alvarez caught Dos Anjos with a punch. A pretty great punch, don't get me wrong, and nearly knocked him out immediately, and he had to chase him down, and it was a long, drawn-out knockout, but I don't think Alvarez will be able to beat Dos Anjos if Dos Anjos comes back for the rematch. I honestly believe that if Dos Anjos comes back, he's not going to get caught again, and Dos Anjos is a great fighter. He's great everywhere. So I think he will probably win the title back if they have a fight at anytime in this year, and he'll be the champion at the end of the year. Now, after that is the welterweight division, which has just changed hands to Tyron Woodley, who did a weird thing of calling out GSP, which I would never call out George St. Pierre for a title fight after winning it for the first time. No. He wants to fight these big names like Nick Diaz and GSP, and the problem is that there's already a #1 contender, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. He is a monster. Monster! He is ungodly good on the feet. I think they have to give Stephen the fight against Tyron next. It's probably going to happen at like a November, December. I think Stephen Thompson is going to destroy Tyron Woodley. If Tyron Woodley can't get Stephen to the ground, I think he's going to get annihilated. So that's pretty much my prediction is Stephen Wonderboy Thompson is going to have it at the end of the year pretty easily. Okay, next up is the middleweight, held by Michael the Count Bisping, the only hope for the Ultimate Fighters right now to basically hold a title more than once. He won it against Luke Rockhold. He was, I don't know, the best way I can describe it is Luke Rockhold definitely underestimated Michael Bisping, and Michael Bisping went in there and knocked him out for it. So Michael Bisping is the champion, and they've already got him a title fight against Dan Henderson, which I was really surprised by, honestly. I'm surprised they didn't give Rockhold the fight, but I think what they're going to do is they're going to put Weidman and Rockhold together for the #1 contendership. So we'll see what happens with that. But Michael Bisping versus Dan Henderson. Dan Henderson knocked him out last time, but Michael Bisping's a lot better fighter, and Dan Henderson's a lot older. So I think Michael Bisping's going to pull out a decision win on this one. I think he's going to grind out Dan Henderson, and the age is going to catch up to him. It'll probably be a swan song fight for Dan Henderson. He'll probably retire, but good for him being 45 and giving it another shot, you know. It'll be a fun fight either way. So that's coming up, but I think Bisping will have it at the end of the year. Okay, after that is the light heavyweight division, which actually this division is going to have a #1 contender come this Saturday. There's a fight between Anthony Rumble Johnson and Glover Teixeira. I can never say his name, I'm sorry. But they're going to fight, and basically whoever wins is going to get a title shot probably at the end of the year, because Daniel Cormier has really yet to defend his title because of John Jones, you know, getting busted. So, man, I think that Rumble's going to win the fight. And then it's going to be Rumble versus Cormier. This fight has happened before for the title when it was vacated because of John Jones being dumb. And Daniel Cormier won. Now, with that being said, I think Rumble's going to be ready for Daniel Cormier this time, and I think he's going to win. He might even knock out Daniel Cormier. So I think at the end of the year, Anthony Rumble Johnson will be the champion at light heavyweight. Now after that is heavyweight, which is held by Stipe Miocic, the Cleveland-born native who knocked out Fabricio Verdum. He's going to lose to Fabricio Verdum. Okay, I watched that fight a million times. I don't think Miocic can pull it off again. Miocic is a great fighter, but Verdum is better. I think Verdum is going to come back for the rematch, and he's going to win probably by submission. I would say submission round 3. I think that's where it's going to catch up with Miocic. I don't think he's going to be able to knock him out because Verdum will be ready for that. I may be wrong about this one. This is the one that I'm very 50-50 on, but if they give Verdum a title shot, which there may already be a heavyweight title shot I don't know about, so that might be bad, but if that fight happens, I think Verdum will have the championship at the end of the year. And that's it. That's all the titles in the UFC. So what do you guys think? What do you think about this UFC content? What do you think about the title ideas I have? Let me know down in the comments with the hashtag WPW. And with that being said, thank you for watching. Subscribe for more. If you have any suggestions for the show, use the hashtag WPW down in the comments or on Twitter, and your idea might just get featured on the show. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.